Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So we haven't really done a presidential election prediction for 2024 in months. So I thought I would take some time out of my day, tie you guys over from yesterday's video to tomorrow's stream by doing just that. Trump and Biden, we've seen some polling. Trump is doing very well in the early polling for 2024, which is very weird. And Biden's favorables are tanking to the point where it's almost certain, one could say, that Trump is enthusiastic to run against Biden, and he is very confident that he will be able to get it done this time. Doesn't exactly mean that it's not going to be difficult. We understand the media is going to pull out all the stops they possibly can on the Trump campaign like they've done in the past, but is it going to be enough? Personally, I don't think so, but nevertheless, we are going to fill out this map to see what the 2024 result would be. But first, I have to tell you guys about redeaglepatriot.com. Make sure if you want all of my exclusive videos I do not post here on YouTube. I put one up today talking a little bit more in depth about this topic, talking about is Biden dead on arrival for 2024. We also have quite a few other exclusive videos. The Discord's back. You could join the Discord server. We have all these other articles as well. If you don't want to miss out, it's just 16 cents a day. redeaglepolitics.com. The link is in the pinned comment, and so is Red Eagle merch, also known as shop.redeaglepolitics.com. We're going to be doing a Memorial Day sale coming in very shortly, but we have a lot of great designs, stickers, coffee mugs, sweatshirts, hoodies, tank tops, etc. Great designs. People love the merch so far. It's pretty epic. I have some myself. The link is also going to be in the pinned comment down below. So without further ado, I think it's important that we get into this and analyze it. I already have filled out the safe red and safe blue states. There's a couple more safe states we'll talk about, but we're going to get to filling those out in a minute. I do have to say that Biden's approval rating is in the gutter right now. It's embarrassing. It's probably even going to get worse. And it really doesn't seem like this is going to be turning around at any time soon, which is important to understand. And the same polls that had Trump losing to Biden in the popular vote by close to 10 points in the 2020 election now have Donald Trump in the driver's seat, leading Joe Biden in the popular vote, which you don't even need to win. In fact, with trends, Trump could lose the popular vote by 5 and still win the White House. So the fact that he's actually leading the popular vote right now, and we understand that polls historically, ever since the Trump era began, have underestimated Trump and other Republicans, mainly Trump and Trump-aligned Republicans, that should tell you every little thing that you need to know about this race. So beyond that point, let's start off and fill out some of the safe red states we haven't touched on yet, like Alaska, especially with oil. This state was like within 11 last time. I don't even know if it's going to be within 15 this time. And there's a lot of libertarian voters out there, or libertarian-minded voters. Doesn't mean they vote for the Libertarian Party, but they tend to be anti-incumbent. And they also exist in New Hampshire as well, in large numbers, which we'll get to in a minute. So Alaska, Iowa, and Ohio, both of these states, Trump almost won by 10. He will likely do so this time around, given trends and given Biden's super high unpopularity in those places. Same thing with Maine's 2nd district. So already Trump is at 149 right now. So now I think it's important we focus on the likely states here. Virginia, I believe, will be likely blue. I think you might say it's turning a corner. Just because Republicans flip the governorship does not mean in a federal election that Republicans are going to be super competitive. But because Biden is unpopular, because there's a lot of buyer's remorse, I could see the margin being cut down to something like D+7. And in Colorado, maybe to a lesser extent, but just because the state has changed so much culturally and demographically since 2004, I believe Biden's going to win the state by close to 10. He might even take it by 10 points or more. So beyond that point, we'll focus on some likely Republican states like Texas. Texas, again, you look at the state of Texas, and Biden did better in the suburbs. Trump did better downstate. You could look at the shift map right here. However, Trump might be able to turn a corner in some places like Tarrant County, like Harris County. Harris County, which is where Houston is, actually trended to the right, even though it moved to the left. I think that Trump will continue to lose ground in like the northern suburbs of Dallas, but just because of Biden's unpopularity, you might see a little bit of a suburban reversion. Couple that with Trump doing a little bit better downstate as well, that will put him over the top in the state by close to his 2016 margin, even though the map is going to look a little bit different. Beyond that point, I also think that Florida is a state that will go Republican in the likely column. DeSantis has terraformed the state into a more Republican state. Trump almost won it by a likely margin last time, and I think Republicans are going to be doing a little bit better even in the Miami-Dade area. But I also think that Trump being on the ballot and Biden being super unpopular, you're going to have some buyer's remorse in places like Pinellas County, and in the Orlando area, I-4 corridor, Trump might do better there as well. So I think that just because the state is becoming more Republican, the Democrats in the state are going to be focusing less on it as well, because they're going to focus their energy more on places like Georgia and Arizona. Florida is going to stay in the Republican column, and Trump's going to win it by close to 7 or 8. So 219 to 204 right now. Let's actually start on the East Coast and work our way west to fill out the rest of the map here. So Maine at large, I believe Biden is going to win Maine at large. I think he's going to win it by closer to 5 than he's going to win it to 9, but I still think that he is going to take Maine at large. And part of this can be attributed to the fact that you might see a higher third-party share. Third parties tend to do well in Maine, but also because of Biden's unpopularity being much higher than it was in 2020. Also, New Hampshire, like I said, the anti-incumbent factor. We'll see what happens this election cycle. Right now, I actually think that New Hampshire is going to be a narrow flip for Donald Trump, just because of the way the national environment is likely going to be, and the fact that Biden is very unpopular among independents compared to where he was 2 years ago. So do keep that in mind. So we'll now move down to North Carolina. Actually, I think North Carolina we could put in the likely Republican column as well, maybe just narrowly. Trump took the state by like 1 to 2 last time. I think he's going to be doing a little bit better in the Charlotte exurbs. He'll also be doing better in the rural areas. Not a lot of these rural areas are really maxed out for Republicans, and Republicans did better in a lot of them, at least in the northern part of the state in 2020, than they did in 2016. So I think that the state is going to go for Trump. Maybe we'll say it's going to be closer to 5, but for right now, let's put it in the likely column. So now moving on to Pennsylvania. Oh, Scranton Joe's home state. They call him Scranton Joe. Can't really call him that anymore. I mean, his popularity rating in this state, I think the last approval poll we've seen was like Biden minus 17. He's 17 points underwater. And you look at the state of Pennsylvania, and you still see the fact that Republicans have a lot of room for growth in, you could even say some of the Pittsburgh exurbs. They're not fully maxed out in the T even. And there's just so much room in northeastern Pennsylvania. And now that Biden has actually been in office and has failed his homeland, I think you're going to start to see northeastern Pennsylvania revert back to the 2016 trends, and I think Biden's going to lose Lackawanna County, which is where Scranton is. So I think Pennsylvania is going to go for Trump. I think it's going to go for Trump, maybe you could say by a couple of points, roughly around the R+2 range. So Georgia's another state. Now, Georgia's trends in the suburbs are just moving off a cliff. And I think 2024, one could say, could be the Republican Party's last stand in Georgia in a national election like this. However, because Biden's so unpopular, because you might just see like a 1% reversion in the suburbs, that's going to be more than enough to deliver Georgia into Donald Trump's hands ever so narrowly. So you could add Georgia to the Republican column. Again, this is assuming a R+2 national environment or so. It checks out if you do the math. Beyond that point, we'll be moving north. We'll be going to Michigan, where there's a lot of rural areas and smaller metro areas where Republicans have favorable demography that have not fully been tapped into. Again, this state was won by Trump in 2016. 2020, you already maxed out the turnout in Ann Arbor and Detroit, and Biden's unpopularity has risen significantly since then, to the point where, yeah, you're looking at Macomb County maybe being R+15. Even West Michigan, you might expect some reversion. The rural areas that move right in 2020 are going to move right continuously. I think Michigan it's going to be very close, but I think that Trump is going to take the state at the end of the day. So Wisconsin, this is a big one. Wisconsin, so much untapped potential. You look at the rural areas. And Biden, you could say, might even be maxed out looking at the demography of the WOW counties. I mean, Washington County in particular is like, I believe, over 70% non-college educated white, and there's so much room to grow in these smaller metros. If Biden's popularity is where it is now, and you might actually have a recession, it might be a bold move, but I think that Trump could take the state of Wisconsin by over 5 points in 2024. You can call that crazy. I disagree. That's just the way the national environment is moving. But Minnesota, we're going to go one state over to the left now. Republicans, again, you could say that, yeah, they're not entirely maxed out in the rural areas, but you look at the fact that a lot of these suburban areas, they had their city burned to the ground, and then they continuously moved left off a cliff. Like, there's nothing you could really do to get through to a lot of these suburbanites in Minneapolis. A lot of them are like Bernie bros, actually, at least in Hennepin County. Maybe if you get to the suburbs, you get to a more neoliberal voting base. So, well, I think Trump might have a slight rebound in a place like Anoka County, and he might do even better up in the northeastern part of the state by the Iron Range. I still think the state is going to go blue by probably around 3 to 4 points, especially because of the growth that we're seeing continuously in the Minneapolis suburbs. Now we'll move down to New Mexico. Very interesting thing that's happening there. You have a coalition of white, I guess you would say college-educated voters and Hispanics. Hispanics in 2020 moved to the right. White college-educated voters moved to the left. You also do have a sizable white working-class population there that was fairly stagnant. However, oil is a big industry in New Mexico. The fact that Biden has just basically abandoned the state, his favorables in the state have tanked significantly. I think Biden's going to win New Mexico. I think he's going to win it by probably closer to 5 points than he is going to win it by the 10, 11 points he won it by in 2020. So there's 2 states left, Arizona and Nevada. Both are primed to get Republican governors this cycle, which they don't have. And people are going to say, well, Doug Ducey's a Republican. Yeah, no, he's not. Like, you look at his actual record, and he's just like a centrist all around. He's not really somebody that's going to save the state. But Kari Lake is somebody that's going to save Arizona. Nevada's likely to get an upgrade over Sisolak there as well. So beyond that point, looking at these states, Arizona and Nevada are actually moving in different directions, which is weird. I mean, even in 2020, you see this on the map here. Go down to Arizona, moved a little bit to the left. Nevada actually moved to the right. Now, Maricopa County is where it's going to come down to. But also you do have the exurbs, which I think Trump is going to do even better in a lot of the exurban counties. And Biden is not exactly the most popular in Pima or Maricopa County, and just a little bit of a bounce back there. And you're going to have election reform more likely than not with Kari Lake taking over as their next governor in 2023. I think the state of Arizona, it's going to be close, but I think it's going to stay in the Republican column. And then we have Nevada, which I think could be poised to pull a Florida. The Reid machine is gone in Nevada, essentially, for lack of a better term. And you look at the state, you look at the fact that Clark County is where the population is, and it's actually moving to the right, ever so slowly, but a little bit of a shift to the right. You accelerate that, especially with the trend in the national environment. I think you're going to see Nevada actually vote for Republicans. I think Republicans are going to take the state by 3, you could even say, with Trump at the helm at the top of the ticket. Maybe you could even say Arizona. You can move that one a little bit to the right as well. Put that in lean R. And then we have Nebraska second, which again, they did change the district map a little bit to the point where it's a little bit more Republican favorable, but it's still voted for Biden by like 6. I think Biden will take it, but it's going to be pretty close. And there we go. 316 for Trump, 222 for Joe Biden. Disagree? That's fine. Comment down below. We can have a reasonable discussion. I'm sure you guys will in the comment section. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below. And join the website and buy the merch. The links are in the pinned comment. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Red Eagle out.